Hey there, it's another beautiful day. Let's watch some stuff.
Some people do stupid things. Don't do stupid things. You are about to hear my opinion. Do your own research.
In 1997, a strange sound echoed through the Pacific Ocean. It was so loud it was picked up by underwater microphones over 3,000 miles apart. Scientists called it the bloop. The sound was organic in nature, but unlike anything ever recorded from a known sea creature. Some experts suggested it could be a massive unknown animal hidden in the deep. Others pointed to shifting icebergs or volcanic activity as possible sources, yet no definitive explanation has ever been confirmed. The idea of a colossal sea monster lurking in uncharted depths captured the imagination of the public. The ocean remains a largely unexplored frontier filled with secrets we can barely imagine. Was the bloop a natural phenomenon, or the voice of something ancient and undiscovered? One thing is certain, the deep sea still holds mysteries beyond our understanding.
Maybe it was like an alien base that imploded underwater, and that's why it was picked up all over the place. But I totally remember when the bloop happened and how much of a mystery this is, except for the fact that the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration figured it out. They determined that it was an ice quake, specifically icebergs breaking off of Antarctica. So, yeah, mystery solved. Yay!
In the quiet town of Tonopah, Nevada, stands the Mizpah Hotel, once the finest in the West. Now, it's one of the most haunted. Built in 1907, it's seen gamblers, outlaws, and legends, but one guest never checked out. They call her the Lady in Red, a beautiful woman who once waited on the 5th floor for a lover who never came. Some say she was betrayed. Others say she met a darker fate. Either way, her spirit still lingers. Guests have reported whispers in empty hallways, jewelry going missing, and the faint scent of roses when no one's around. Room 504? That's where most of the activity happens. Lights flicker, doors open by themselves, and sometimes you'll hear high heels clicking across the floor when no one's there. But don't worry. The Lady in Red is said to be a friendly ghost. Just don't ignore her. Would you spend the night at the Mizpah Hotel?
So, yes and no. I would stay there because you know my position on ghosts. I don't believe that it's ghosts. I believe that it's other beings outside of our visible spectrum of light that are like tinkering with like the effects and stuff and coming on over. And no, because if she can steal jewelry, she can probably steal a person. Figure out how to get one of us over into their dimension. Not dimension, but into their spectrum of light. I don't know how they would do that, but I mean, obviously they're tinkering their way over here, so maybe they can tinker us over there. Perhaps that's where all these alien abductions are happening. They're little areas where they're like, hey, we can break through here and take some people. Huh. No, I still think that there's aliens from outer space. That's one of the things that alarms me slightly about potentially living in an area that's not as incredibly inhabited as here. Things like that happen more. I mean, I'm a little excited about that and a little concerned just because I've been down that road and I'm not interested in doing it again. But yeah, that's a good one.
Okay, watch this video, because I'm going to slow it down and show you some things, and you're going to be freaked. Okay, this guy flies. Does not even touch the table. Actually, his legs go through the table, and he flies up there after something. Wait till I show you. Do you see that? Look at the heights he gets without even jumping or moving his legs. And watch him disappear. Now this guy seems to come out of nowhere, and he seems to be moving in reverse. And watch the water plume, and everything happen in a strange way. And it gets weirder and weirder. Just wait. Now notice these two people merge into each other and become one. And then notice the bird come out of nowhere that guy actually jumps and attacks. Is that a bat? Is that a bird? Is that the person that is merged? And what's that in the water right there? A whale? Mermaid? There's something else going on here. And it all disappears, and all of a sudden it's a river. None of that structure, none of those people are anywhere near anymore. But the foliage in the background seemed fine, even though the trajectory came straight towards them. Now watch this person again. He just turned into a person from something. And look at him bobbing up and backwards like something is pushing him. Not just the water, and then that plume. It's like he's in reverse. And he just lands on his feet right there. This isn't even all of it. Is it just me? Or did that person look like they were going in reverse, which is impossible because we would know because of the water. But then the last person that was kind of bobbing looks like they're going in reverse. Is this CGI or is this like what the? I've watched this 100 times. I don't understand what's happening.
Does anybody else feel like we're getting our legs pulled a little bit? I think I'm gonna call it. It's a little bit, just a little bit of it. Or let's see. Hang on. Let's see. Yeah, I think it's a little bit of that. And obviously, I mean, why would the foliage? Why would the greenery on the other side be destroyed if the water's coming this way? So I do think that part of it was a little edited to make it look a certain way. And obviously, when you slow things down and you see people being tossed about by water, it's gonna look a little peculiar. But I don't think that anything seriously like supernatural happened there, unfortunately.
This is why I don't have mirrors in my house, because they're literal portals to other dimensions. So this fellow was alone at home and started hearing strange sounds. Freaked out, he started to film to try capture the sounds to prove to his girlfriend that he wasn't imagining things. He really wasn't expecting this to happen. Watch this.
No, 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 no! Ah, não, 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 não é possível! Que isso?
actually had to watch that a couple times because I was trying to figure out what was going on. And since I don't believe that mirrors are portals, there was a time where I was like, hey, it's a possibility, and I break them all the time. So I don't even think that I'm like shattering, transports from one reality to another or getting any kind of bad luck. But I looked at the stuff that was on the wall and the shadows that he was casting, and it looked like basically he was just standing in the right place to line up with them to make it look like something super creepy. That's just what I believe.
After Pope Francis, what comes next has been prophesied for centuries, and it's terrifying. There's this book, The Prophecy of the Popes. It was found deep in the Vatican archives. It predicted every pope from the year 1143 all the way to Pope Francis. Every single one. But here's the dark part. After Francis, the prophecy just ends. 2 words, Judgment Day. Now here's where it gets scary. Inside St. Paul's Basilica, on the walls of the inner sanctuary, there are portraits of every pope in history. But there's only a limited number of spots made for those portraits. And right now, after Pope Francis, there's only 1 spot left. People have always said that once the last space is filled, that's it. End of the world. And listen to this. Between the first pope and the middle of the list, there were 422 years. The prophecy says from the middle pope to the last pope would also be 422 years. The middle one, that was in 1585. Add 422, you get 2027. And Pope John, 23, he reportedly said the world would end 2,000 years after Christ. If Jesus lived for about 27 years, that also takes you to 2027. It all lines up. The prophecy, the paintings, the math, all pointing to the same year, and nobody's talking about it.
This is just a theory, not a fact.
So in the last live stream, Shayna said that the next pope is supposed to be Peter. And I was wondering how the heck they decided what their name was, if it was assigned to them. And then Big Bang brought up the fact that they choose their name. So if it's Peter, then you win. I have no idea. As far as these years lining up, that's a little interesting. I wonder if there's like some kind of progressive issue that is going to come and cause the church to fall, because the last pope was very progressive and he was okay with the whole LGBTQ thing. And as far as I know, which is limited knowledge, that's no bueno inside of the Church of God. So I don't know. Maybe the next one will be a little too progressive and it'll cause the church to fall. That's just my theory. It's where my conspiracy brain is going. Or maybe we're all doomed.
So, the Prophecy of Popes. It's a series of 112 short cryptic phrases in Latin, which purport to predict the Catholic popes, beginning with Celestine II. It's been quite accurate. Birthplaces, names, family mottos. It comes all the way to 2005 to 2013, Pope Benedict. That would correspond perfectly to the second last pope, and said there would be only one more pope after Benedict, which was Pope Francis. The longest and final verse predicts the apocalypse, but the apocalypse is about awakening, not annihilation. Originally from the Greek word apocalypsis, means the unveiling, revealing hidden truths or divine knowledge. It was never about destruction, but a deep spiritual insight into the true nature of reality. It says, in the final persecution of the Holy Roman Church, there will be a reign of Peter the Roman, who will feed his flock amid many tribulations. After the 7-hilled city, which is Rome, will be destroyed, and the dreadful judge will judge the people.
Is that just predicting the fall of the Catholic Church? Of power,
and
of God?
I don't think destruction literally means fiery rain.
Yeah.
I feel like it is the fall
Vatican.
of Rome. Yes, correct.
And the holders of God,
Correct. So
that wouldn't be a bad thing.
I think the apocalypse is here. And this is the end of days. Rome, or the Vatican, or the Catholic Church would have you believe that to find God, we have to go through the church, that we will see the destruction of Rome, not as a literal destruction, but a fall of its dominion over man and authority of God. And with that, we will see the return of Christ, not the physical embodiment of Christ, but the way of Christ.
I feel like that makes the most sense.
Christ is a title, not a name. It's a title given to those who reach a level of enlightenment. Christ means the anointed one. The Gnostic traditions also teach that the Christ is a universal consciousness that can awaken within us all that the Christ is not just Jesus, but a universal divine consciousness that exists in all of us, a spark of God waiting to be awakened. That idea, that very idea that the Knights Templar were protecting, that they discovered, that idea would have threatened the power of the church, which taught that salvation came only through the institution.
Yeah.
If everyone could access the divine directly, Christ was within, it would decentralize that Roman authority.
Yeah. I mean, it's the same threat to any kind of structure of power.
Yeah, I think there's a line where the New Age spirituality says, no, you can just do it all yourself. I don't think we do have that power to just go, oh, I get it. I'm divine. I am everything.
It's like everyone. You need a teacher and a mentor.
You would correct, and I think that mentor is Jesus.
That was pretty in depth. I did have Peter the Roman, and I wonder, when this book came out, when this book was released, how long it's been in the Vatican catacombs, in the archive, just waiting, and how long they've been actually following it. Maybe the next guy is like, I'm not going to be Peter because I don't want to be the destroyer. Or maybe it is like bringing about the way of Christ. And so he is going to be Peter because he knows that, yes, there will be a fall, but coming of it will be the way of Christ. Oh man, that's a little, two-sided. Maybe he does, maybe he doesn't. Maybe he doesn't want to be the reason for the fall of the Catholic Church, or maybe he does want to be the reason for the coming of the way of Christ. That's a lot of speculation. I just will have to wait and see.
The truth about the CIA is far darker than you've been led to believe. The CIA isn't just a spy agency, they are a global force of control, working behind the scenes to manipulate foreign governments, orchestrate coups, and maintain the status quo of the elites. They've infiltrated countries all over the world, using their power to push agendas that benefit the few while keeping the masses in chaos. What you don't know is that they've been controlling international politics, media narratives, and even global conflicts, all to serve their hidden agenda. The CIA has engineered wars, created conflicts, and influenced elections, all in the name of preserving American power and the interests of the ruling class. Behind the curtain, the CIA is working to control everything, from the rise and fall of nations to the flow of information, shaping the world's future in ways you can't imagine. And they're doing it all in secret without the public ever knowing what's really going on. The CIA doesn't care about your freedom. They care about global dominance.
Now, those of us that have had our eyes open have known this for a little while now, and it's probably why JFK was taken out, because he was talking about dismantling the CIA. And that's probably why everybody's in such an uproar right now as government is being shrunk, because we don't need all these people doing all these things. And these people were probably planted by the ones that are freaking out because they're going to lose control. And that's a scary thing. But yeah, absolutely. Totally believe it.
Food dye is permanently banned. Citrus number 2 and orange B have an immediate ban as they are the most harmful, and the rest have a phase-out ban for 2026, including red 40, yellow number 5, yellow number 6, blue number 1, blue number 2, and green. So, red, blue, and green, all colors basically, and yellow. Why? Because they create a buttload of issues. One is behavioral issues in children like ADHD, ADD, etc., obesity and diabetes, DNA damage. Let me say that one more time. DNA damage to your DNA, and addictive traits. What foods are going to be affected? Candies, cereals, baked goods, sodas and beverages, snack foods, frostings, and desserts. So basically, everything that isn't meat or cheese. Yeah. They're my sources. Thanks for watching. Let me know what you think.
Okay, so they're being phased out by 2026. And there was another clip that I watched about food dyes and Vatican stuff, and there was a correlation with that, and I don't remember exactly what it was. Like, the food dyes made her brains do silly things and see the demon faces, and now they're phasing them out in 2026. And the previous clip that we saw said, here go Helcom in 2027. So maybe we get rid of all the food dyes in 2026 and our brains like heal themselves, and in 2027 something bad's going to happen. We're no longer under their control. Maybe. I don't know. That's kind of crazy.
Searching around online, I was looking at old UAP videos, and this one comes from the Bogota in Colombia, right? And this kind of looks like the exact same sort of anomaly that was seen in Saladin in Iraq. This jetpack UFO type entity thing that was floating along, kind of doing this weird trajectory. Alright, I'm going to play the video of the Saladin one at the end, but this is practically identical, and this is not the first time that we've seen something like this. The jetpack phenomena has been seen for so many years, most notably for ones like Colombia itself. We've had them in France, we've had some in Africa as well, and Iraq's had quite a few as well. So there's a big correlation here, and here's the one from the Saladin Iraq. Okay, so you've just seen the first one in Colombia. Look at the stark resemblance of this one. Okay, this was seen for a short period of time. It was then floating over. There's been multiple perspectives of this as well, and there was a guy that was riding a motorbike that stopped and filmed this as well, and he looked absolutely perplexed with what's going on, mate. Right? Look at the state of that object, bruv. This one just constantly stumps me. This one came out, what, probably about a couple of months ago. And since then as well, we've had a few extra sightings around the world of this strange phenomena reappearing, man. But nobody can explain what it is, so I don't know. You guys let me know what you think. This is kind of funky.
A couple of things. Yeah, Bogota, not Bogota. I did catch that, and for some reason it stuck in my head. But another thing is, it's probably just rocket packs. People are trying to figure out this whole rocket pack thing. They want to be the Rocketeer, and of course it's going to be all over the place. As somebody does it somewhere, other people are like, hey, I could do that. I could probably do it better. So they're like, let's try it on out. Maybe they're trying to recreate Iron Man. I don't know. I just think it's people trying to make rocket packs.
I'm going to prove to you that nothing is real. Here's the forest. Look at all these trees. These trees aren't real. Look. Are we that desperate that we need to plant trees in a forest filled with trees?
Okay, yeah, that's a little strange. It looked like there was like some kind of an irrigation system or like one of those borders that goes around the base of a tree. But why would that be in the forest? Full of trees. Huh.
The FDA is taking action to remove petroleum-based food dyes from the U.S. food supply and from medications. For the last 50 years, American children have increasingly been living in a toxic soup of synthetic chemicals. The scientific community has conducted a number of studies raising concerns about the correlation between petroleum-based synthetic dyes and several health conditions, such as attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, obesity, diabetes, insulin resistance, cancer, genomic disruption, GI issues, as I've seen in the hospital, and allergic reactions. For example, this Lancet study conducted a randomized, double-blinded, placebo-controlled study on food dyes and concluded that artificial colors in the diet, quote, result in increased hyperactivity. So why are we taking a gamble?
You gotta follow the money trail. They want a nation of workers, not thinkers. So if everything is petroleum based, who's going to be losing out on this? And you know that they're paying off the FDA to allow this stuff in so that they can continue to make more money. It's all about the money. And now it's going to stop. Well, I hope it's going to stop. But check this out.
U.S. health officials are pushing to remove artificial dyes from foods. That has businesses looking to find a replacement for red and pink, and many are turning to bugs.
All right, Fox 5's Teresa Priolo joins us live in the newsroom. Scientists say the special bug can actually make Barbie pink naturally.
So we've all heard the debate, guys, about red dye in our food, specifically red dye 3 and 40. This is something that began under the Biden administration, but with RFK Jr. in office, it's taken on a new level of importance. RFK Jr. is looking to outlaw 6 petroleum-based dyes that commonly color our foods, candies, and cereals. The most common ones are yellow 5, yellow 6, and, as I mentioned, red 40. Together, they make up 90% of all the food dye used in America. Red 40 alone used in 36,000 food products in the U.S. And over the years, research in animals has shown a potential link between these dyes and an increased risk of cancer. A lot of people are now looking at their labels, and they're finding they have no idea what they're ingesting.
All right, so check out where my conspiracy brain is going with this. If they're going to use the bugs, which is disgusting, they're going to start breeding those bugs, like in mass, which means they're going to genetically alter them to reproduce faster and bigger and brighter. And then we're just going to have these genetically modified bugs. And if they go to foods to use as dyes, they're just going to use the genetically modified stuff, which is just as bad. It doesn't stop. It doesn't stop. There's going to be a modified version of something still inside of our food. All right, part 3 of our CIA black site story.
Used by the CIA. I think that is well covered elsewhere. So instead, I will be using sterile words like enhanced interrogation, partly because I'm publishing this to a lot of people and I want to make sure that this video remains accessible to a large audience, including younger viewers, and partly to spare all of you of these details. I believe that the story can be well understood without those details. If you do want more information on this, go to the sources in my description where all of this is documented. Okay, so the CIA has their first secret prison, and it's in Thailand. And Abu Zubaydah secretly remains there for 9 months, during which the CIA uses its expanded authority to torture this man to get information that they think will help them catch more terrorists. But here comes another problem for the CIA. The Thai government officials are starting to learn more about this secret program and are becoming uncomfortable with the CIA doing this in their country. Not to mention, the media starts poking around and learning more details about what the CIA is up to. So much so that Vice President Dick Cheney himself tries to convince an American news outlet not to publish any of the details. They partly comply, but the whole thing spooks the CIA. They realize that they need to leave Thailand. This is the CIA moving its secret prisoners from Thailand to another location, but they would have to cover their tracks. And that's how we get this document. We're looking at a receipt for the booking of a private jet through a contractor working with the CIA. We see that they booked a Gulfstream 4 to go from DC to Thailand.
So there's proof to all of these secret sites, which is absolutely crazy. I was going to play part 4 also, but I found out that from TikTok, it doesn't have any audio, but I did find it on YouTube, and I'm going to have to figure out some way to get it here because I don't pay for YouTube Premium, which allows you to download things, and I don't do that because I'm cheap. But I'm going to figure it out, and I'm going to have it on Friday. So thank you so much for sharing your time with me. If you haven't already, please hit that like button and consider subscribing. And then come on back in a couple days, because we're going to watch some new stuff. I'll say different things, and it's going to be fantastic. Until then, have a wonderful day. So I had to watch that a few times, and I personally don't believe that mirrors are portals to other. I caught it and then I lost it. I killed the mosquito. A little frickin' ninja is what it is. Ninja vampire. And I got it. Yes.
Alright.